Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today I am going to show you how to meal prep. I'll show you what I eat, the ingredients that I use, and how quickly and simply you all can do the same for yourself, hopefully inspiring some of you guys to start living a healthier life. My meals generally consist of three main things: a protein source, a carb source, and a vegetable. And for today's menu that we'll be cooking up, I've chosen several proteins, several carbs, and several vegetables to give you guys a lot of different ideas. I create my entire menu and meal plan, so please guys, if you have any questions, drop a comment below and I'd be more than happy to help in any way that I can. Let's jump into it. Alright guys, so today we are going to start with our chicken. A couple tips right off the bat. Get yourself a large cutting board so you can have all of your meat on the cutting board and you can do your work as efficiently as possible. Quick tip, you don't want the cutting board moving around at all. So as simple as taking a couple of napkins or paper towels, wetting them a little bit, and putting that layer underneath, you can have a cutting board and a cutting surface that doesn't move at all. And that's gonna hold your cutting board in place. Go ahead and do that. A couple quick tips there. Next, we're gonna grab our chicken, and like I said, for this process to work and for you all to see the most benefit and want to do it again next week, you want to do things as quickly as possible and as efficiently as possible. Today, we're just gonna do 4 boneless, skinless chicken breasts. What you'll need is a fork and a nice knife. So we have all our breasts. I think it goes without saying, guys, that anytime you're handling raw meat, fish, eggs, then wash your hands before and after handling. There's generally a piece of fat towards the top of the breast. A lot of times there will be one along the side. There's not here, these are pretty clean. And then a lot of times there is a just a tendon here on the backside, so flip it over and cut a small V in the chicken, and that's it. Guys, a couple other things to look for. If there's a lot of marbling or white colored striations like this, there's generally one big one here, but if there's a lot, that tells the quality of the chicken. So the less of that white coloration, the better quality of the chicken breast. So just something to look for when you're at the grocery store. So now that we've cleaned up our chicken, the next step is to thin the breast. So as you see, if you have a breast, you generally have a thicker piece towards the top of the breast, and as it goes down, it gets thinner. So that's going to result in uneven cooking. And what you want is nice, even cooking. No matter how you choose to cook it, whether you're grilling or baking, there will be uneven cooking. So the way we are going to correct that is pound it nicely. Another quick tip is put some saran wrap over the breast, and that's gonna help contain the mess. So, direct the pounding towards the top of the breast where it's thickest, and what we want to do is even it out. So that's about it. We're gonna do the same for the next 3 and then the next step. So now that all the breasts have been nicely pounded to an even thickness, we are going to do one last step before we put the marinade on, and that is take your fork and poke a bunch of holes into the breast. Not only does this further tenderize the meat, but it also creates space and holes into the breast to allow the marinade to soak in. Another tip, so I've given several already, but we're gonna put the chicken into a Ziploc bag. So now that we have all our breasts in the bag, we are going to take our marinade. And guys, this is the best way that I like to do it, is in the bag. It's a trick that I learned a little while ago. Used to put it in a pan, but it would only get and cover one side of the breast. So give this a try if you're not doing it already. Put it in a Ziploc bag, pour in your marinade, and it's gonna get good, full coverage of the breast and the marinade. So this is one that I've liked recently. It's a pre-made marinade that I pick up at Wegmans. It's called Mojo. It's sort of like a Southwestern style. So feel free to use marinade liberally, in my opinion. So we're just gonna pour a whole bunch in there. There's just a little bit left, so I'm just gonna finish off this one. And as you see, the breasts are nicely covered. Feel free to work the marinade around just to make sure that every part of that breast is covered in marinade. And then next step, we're gonna close it up and we are going to put these in the fridge, get on to the next thing, and let these marinate for a little while before we throw them on the grill. All right guys, so chicken is in the fridge marinating. We're gonna leave that in there, jump on to our next protein, which will be ground beef. And so I have here some 90-10 lean ground beef. We are going to do some meatballs. I wanna keep the carbs out, so I'm not gonna do any breadcrumbs, but I'm gonna add some onion, as you'll see, some garlic, some black pepper, an egg to use as the binder, and then some parsley as well. So a little bit of flavor, but we will add some more flavor after the fact, and then those mixed with our other carb and vegetable should provide additional flavor. So let's jump into it. So we're gonna start with our ingredients. First, our onion. And best way to do that is just chop the ends. Make a little bit of an incision laterally. It allows you to pull off those first couple layers nice and easily. For this recipe, we have 1 pound of lean ground beef. We are gonna use about 1/4 of the onion. And we are going to finely chop. Since it's gonna be finely chopped, guys, you can slice it really any way you want to. So we have our onion finely chopped. Next, we are going to take our egg, put it in the bowl, whisk it, add our onion, garlic, and other ingredients. So crack your egg. As a rule of thumb, 1 egg per pound of meat to use as a binder is sufficient. So take your whisk, just gonna whisk it up, that's good there. And then we are going to add our onion. Mix the onions in there with the egg. And then we are going to do 1 clove of garlic. Take the flat side of the knife, palm, and break it. Strip away the outer shell, trim the ends, and finely chop. Garlic is finely chopped. We are going to add that to the mix. Right there. And then we are going to add 1 teaspoon of black pepper. Mixing all our ingredients here before we add the meat. So egg, about 1/4 of an onion, 1 clove of garlic, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, and then lastly we are going to do a teaspoon of parsley. That is what we're gonna mix our lean meat with. Take our meat, put it in. The trick here with the meat is to not overwork it. Think of pinching it in between your fingers rather than kneading it. Work all those flavors into the meat. So now that all the ingredients are mixed in, we are going to form little balls. So I lightly oil the cooking sheet with some spray olive oil, and now we are going to form them in the hands, just like that. And we are going to place on the cooking sheet. I've already turned the oven on to preheat. We are going to bake these at 400 for around 20 minutes or so. Make sure that they are cooked all the way through. All right guys, so we have completely rolled all the bowls. The oven is ready to go. Let's throw these in, and then I'm gonna prepare 1 more protein to go in the oven as well. All right guys, so we have 2 proteins down. The chicken is marinating in the refrigerator. Ground beef meatballs cooking away in the oven. We have 2 more proteins to go. I told you guys I have a lot of different proteins, a lot of stuff to show you guys in this video to give you a whole bunch of different ideas. The next protein we are going to prep is some cod fillets. Now just a few of the ingredients, very simply, that I use to make some good fish. Here we go. All right guys, so another raw meat. So we just wash your hands to make sure everything is perfect and clean. First, get a baking dish. What you're gonna do is line the pan with aluminum foil, and like I said, this is just gonna help with the cleanup. I have some wild caught cod fillets here that I am going to rinse under cold water. Line that with a little bit of the olive oil spray. Layer these here There we go. Very nice. Look amazing. Ingredients, when I do fish, this goes for cod, tilapia, salmon, all across the board. I use a very simple, few ingredient recipe that you can keep very clean. So first, fresh squeezed lemon juice. Get some of that lemon in there. And then garlic, we're just gonna go ahead and use about half a teaspoon per. Smooth it around all over the fish. Not a ton of ingredients. I like the fish flavor, so I don't want to overpower it. A little bit of pepper. And then last ingredient that you don't have to add, because it definitely can be high in sodium, but I like to add it because y'all know I'm from Maryland, Old Bay. So that is that. We're gonna go and slide these in. They're gonna cook at the same temperature as the meatballs, which works perfectly. They're gonna cook at 400 for about 10 to 12 minutes. So they're gonna come out a little bit before the meatballs, which we put in a few minutes ago. So we have our meatballs in the oven, we have our cod in the oven, chicken is marinating still. One more protein that I will show you guys is ground turkey, but since that cooks up super quickly, I'm gonna leave that towards the end of our meal prepping and do that along with one other thing, and that will conclude. Guys, I show you all these different things that you can do for your benefit to give you a lot of ideas. But if you want to stay with one protein, one carb, and one vegetable, and that's all you do for the entire week, that is completely fine. All right, guys, so the meatballs are done, the cod is done. These are delicious. I've already had a few. Super simple, super clean, lean ground beef. And as you saw, we use onion, garlic, parsley, and black pepper, and that's it, and they're super flavorful. Quick reminder, we baked them at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. The cod baked at 400 for about 15 minutes, and again, keep an eye on it. You want the internal temperature of beef to be about 160, the internal temperature of your fish to be about 145 or so. Now we're gonna get some carbs rolling. Let's start on those. For today's menu, I have chosen white rice, sweet potatoes, and a red skin mashed potato as our carb sources. So rice is the first thing that we'll get started because it's the easiest, and that is because we have a rice cooker. Guys, I would highly recommend as a means of efficiency to get a rice cooker, and it makes life and meal prepping so much easier. Threw the rice on, and simply you just have to go ahead and press white rice, and it will turn off when it's done. Easy as that. Generally, the manufacturer will give you a guide on how to do it. How much rice, what line to fill the water to, and then what button to press. So it's basically dummy-proof, fail-safe, and very, very easy. We are gonna start with our sweet potatoes. You're gonna wanna wash them, which I have already done. And then if there are any bad spots or little places that you need to cut out, just take a paring knife and look them over. See if there's any trouble spots that you need to take out, and then just very carefully go ahead and take those right out. Do that. I like to cut the ends off, and for today's menu, we are going to do a sweet potato fry. We are gonna pair the sweet potato fries with the ground beef meatballs that we did earlier. Anytime you're cutting though, you wanna create for yourself a nice flat surface with the potato. So go ahead and chop one of the sides off. You're not wasting too much, and that creates a good firm surface. So first, we're just gonna slice down the middle, and be very careful, guys, when you're working obviously with sharp knives, but we're gonna slice this one down the middle, and then we are gonna proceed to slice these up into lengths. Here we go. All right, guys, so all the sweet potatoes are done. We're gonna grab a pan and go ahead and spray it with some of our olive oil. All on the pan, we are going to even them out nicely. You can use your hands, you can use a spatula to get them out evenly. You don't want any on top of each other. You want a nice, even layer so the cooking is consistent. So now that we have our fries layered, we are going to do a couple different seasonings today. Black pepper, paprika, and a smokehouse maple. We have the oven preheated. We are going to go ahead, flavor these up, And then once that oven heats, we're gonna cook them at 400 for 10 minutes. And then we're gonna go in, we're gonna flip them, move them around a little bit, and then finish the cooking off for another 15 minutes, and then they'll be done. On to the red potatoes, and very similarly, we already washed them. Take out any bad spots with your paring knife. We're gonna cut these up into just about 1-inch chunks or so. Get a big pot, and we're gonna throw the chunks into the pot. All the potatoes are in our pot. Next thing, we add water just to the point where it covers the potatoes. So add some water, put it on your stove. We just put it on high. We're gonna boil the water and then turn the heat back to medium and cook them for another 10 to 12 minutes. The vegetables for today's menu, I have chosen cauliflower, broccoli, and green beans. And today we are going to start with the cauliflower because we're gonna do a baked cauliflower, and it's a buffalo seasoning, which I love. So the ingredients will be obviously the cauliflower. We're gonna do a Frank's Red Hot, some garlic, and then once we have laid it out on the sheet, we're gonna sprinkle with some black pepper. Flip it over, and you just wanna cut each little head off, and then cut it into the size that you want. Just a nice little bite size. Take the first ingredient, Frank's Red Hot. It will be used as our hot sauce to give it that buffalo style. And we are just going to pour away. With the bag, you're able to mix them up very nicely. Second ingredient, we're gonna do a little bit of garlic. So I'm gonna take 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. Take our pan, and once again, our olive oil spray. We're just gonna spray this down. Now that we have a good coat of the spray, we are going to layer the cauliflower out onto the pan, spread that out onto our pan, and then the last thing we're gonna do is put a little black pepper on it. Throw these in the oven at 400 for about the same amount of time, 20 to 25 minutes. The sweet potato fries came out of the oven. They are perfect. That's my timer there. Potatoes are done. We're gonna start mashing those next. But these guys, that smokehouse maple seasoning, perfect with the paprika, and the pepper is excellent. So hope you guys enjoy these. We're gonna move on to mashing the potatoes. Grab your pot holders. We're gonna drain the water, and then we are gonna return the potatoes back to the pot. Pour them right in. Guys, as you can see, it's not something you have to do, but I like to leave the skin on the potatoes. A lot of times you can peel the potato. People prefer it that way. I personally prefer the skin on. In my mind, if it grew that way and there are nutrients in it, then let's leave it on. For the amount of potatoes that we have in there, we are gonna do 1 cup of the almond milk. Add it in, smoother consistency, and also just as a substitute for milk, it's gonna be a lot healthier of an option. It's a lower calorie of an option, maintains the same calcium content. So we're gonna mix this up and go from there. I wanted to give you the idea of using almond milk as a substitute. And again, this isn't sweetened, this is unsweetened almond milk, 30 calories per cup with the brand that I use. Also has a little flavor because they are pretty bland. We're gonna add some garlic powder, and that's gonna be it. Otherwise, super clean, very tasty, and now we're gonna move on to the last few things, which is our vegetables. And we're gonna wrap this up. Next thing we're gonna do is do the broccoli. So I am going to boil a pot of water. Broccoli is very similar to cauliflower when it comes to its shape, its size. Break it into the sizes that you want, cut off some of the stem, and you're left with a nice bite-sized piece. So we're gonna throw those in our colander, wash these up, and then we are going to steam them up. Water's boiling, the broccoli has been washed, and now we are going to grab our steamer basket, put the broccoli in, and boil the broccoli for about 5 to 6 minutes. You're gonna see the color of the broccoli turn to a bright green, and that's the way you know it's done. Our broccoli's finished up. The green beans are going to steam for about 5 to 6 minutes, and very similarly, they're gonna turn a brighter green, and that's when you know they're done. So green beans are done. We have turned the heat off. Now we're gonna cut our chicken and start putting everything in their containers. We are just about to wrap this up. The last thing on the menu for tonight, and we left it to the last, is our final protein. It's gonna be ground turkey. We're using a 99 lean ground turkey. The turkey is going to cook up very quickly, so you just wanna keep it moving around the pan. You want no pink whatsoever. I like to use a low sodium taco seasoning mix. Given the leanness of the meat, you might need to add a little water. Ground turkey is done. So we've divided everything into containers. We have several of each for the week. Just as a quick review, we have our cod, broccoli, and red skin mashed potato. We did our ground beef meatballs, broccoli, and sweet potato fries, which are delicious. Everything here, guys, is super good, quick and easy to make. Our chicken, green bean, and mashed potato meal, and then lastly, our ground turkey, white rice, and buffalo cauliflower. That's gonna wrap up today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a big thumbs up and share it with someone you think can benefit from this as well. Hopefully I was able to give you some good ideas of things you can try in your kitchen and at least inspire you to start living a healthier life. I'll see you guys in the next one.